Hello, good people. I realize tonight is not the best night to go live, but I am long overdue with some book reviews, and I wanted to share what I have read, what I'm going to be reading. So I just wanted to share with you first. The first book that I finished, I'm going to pull up the picture for you. The first book that I finished was Blended by Sharon Draper. I actually talked about this before on another book review that I'm going to upload on YouTube. So if you want to access my YouTube page, if you go to my bio, you will see the link. Joshua, get out of the camera, because I asked you to come on camera to help me talk about one of the books and you didn't want to. Okay, Joshua, go do what you're supposed to do. You don't have to come and interrupt me. Thank you. So pretty much I highly recommend this book if you are going through a divorce and you have children. I recommend your children reading this book. Unfortunately, I've never been married, but I do witness what children go through when it comes to divorces, because I am a teacher, and whether you believe it or not, some kids do bring the negative feelings of divorce with them to school sometimes. So you really see a young lady who is struggling because she feels like she's not living her life. She's either living a life for her father or she's living a life for her mother. And she feels like she's caught in between because they never truly, and I wouldn't say never, as you're reading the book, you realize that they are still angry at each other. They still have issues with each other, and they struggle, and she's in the middle of the struggle. If you look at the the front of the book, you can see that the ice cream is melting together. She is biracial. Her mother is white. Isabella, and she's called Bella by her. I just know the dad and the mom had two different nicknames, and she even struggled with that. If you look at the back of the book, it shows how she has two different book bags. So instead of her just having one book bag, she went back and forth between the mom and dad. Once the dad moved back from California, she just how she felt like she was living these two separate lives. And then it starts to roll into this. I wouldn't say she struggles with the fact that she's biracial. She recognizes that she's black. Even though she has a white mother, she recognizes that people recognize her as being black. And as a result, she faces some issues that, to me, an 11-year-old shouldn't have to deal with, but she does because of her skin color. So I would highly recommend reading this book. Mother's daughters, father's daughters, read this book together. Because, again, her parents were married, went through a very bitter divorce. Father moved away to California, came back to Ohio, and that's when they had shared custody, when she would be with them for dad with 1 week and mom with 1 week. Both of them had significant others who were very pivotal in her life. So, and Sharon Draper, like she always does in awesome fashion, will shock you towards the end of the book, where you're just like, really, Sharon, this had to go down like this? I was hurt. But I got over my hurt. I will admit that. So I'm not going to I'm just dropping that bomb. You just have to figure out what happened. And again, it happens towards the end. The next book that I read that I was hoping to get my son on to give his opinion about the book and what he liked about it. This is the first book that we read together. We've read comics together. Like, we read the Bitterroot comics. They have a new one debuting this fall, but this is our first novel that we read together because he had to read a book for summer reading, and I was intrigued by the book. First came across the book in Books A Million. I'm very hesitant about buying books I've never read before. What I have a habit of doing is I'll rent it from the public library and then check it out from them. And then if I like it, I'll purchase it and put it on my wish list at Amazon. This book right here, and what's so ironic about this author, Matt de la Pena, is that I had already started reading Mexican White Boy, and I could not get into it. It just wasn't drawing me in. And when I read this one, I could not put the book down. And basically, you have the main character who you can see is Superman, but he does not realize he's Superman. He doesn't even realize he's an alien. He just knows he has these crazy powers. He's still learning how to control them. He doesn't know where it came from. And eventually he does realize who he is. And the question is, what is he going to do with who he is? But in the midst of figuring out who he is as a teenager, as a senior in high school, used to play football, stopped playing football because he injured someone severely, and he knew how strong he was, and he didn't want to take the chance from then to play football and injure someone else. Very smart, very studious. Of course, you have the Lois Lane character. She's a redhead who basically, I forgot, what was his best friend's name? You remember, Joshua? In the Superman book. It was Ryan. No, not Brian. The female, the redhead. Lana. Her name is Lana Lane, ironically, and she's the news reporter of the school, noted for her stories, and she goes on heavy hit stories. And then one day when his hearing is very sensitive, so he can hear anything, and he hears a young girl crying, so it bothers him because he can't see the girl crying. So finally he follows the sound, and he comes across Glory. It was very beautiful, and I want to point out that she's Mexican for a reason. She's noticing that people in her family are missing, and then it comes out that a lot of people of color, black, I want to say there were Asians too, and Mexicans who just came up missing, and they don't know where they're going and what's happening to them. And ironically, at the beginning of the book, the main character is attacked. Him and his football player friends are attacked by this guy who's in this fatigue uniform. He seems to be in a daze. They don't know where he came from or why he was there. So that was really good. So it just keeps you intrigued, like, who is this guy who attacked him? Then it goes into, well, why are these people coming up missing? And she keeps bringing it up that these people are missing. So it's called Dawnbreaker, because I do believe he's learning who he is as a person, and he feels the need to fight with what's going on, because he is this corporation who's taken over the town, and they've given all these donations. But Lana believes there's something more to this. And then he meets a guy named Brian, who he is the son of the father who owns all these corporations. And Brian is really down to earth. And how they end up meeting each other is they were in a helicopter with this other scientist and his older brother, and they were circling around Clark's land and his family's land, and the helicopter ends up spinning out of control, and Clark saves them, and because of that, him and Brian start a relationship. But Brian is very vocal about what's going on with his family. He feels like, my dad does good things, but there's this other stuff going on that I kind of wonder about, and you can tell Brian seeks to get his father's approval. So all these things come into play into the novel, and it's a very good novel. I highly recommend it if you are definitely a DC Comics person. I'll admit, growing up, I was a DC Comics person. I always watched the Superman shows and the cartoons. I always watched Batman shows and the cartoons. It wasn't until the Marvel movies came out that I started becoming more of a Marvel person. I remember watching X-Men, which X-Men is Marvel, DC Comics. X-Men. Did you just say that? Can you just flow with this? Can you just flow with the answer to the question? Thank you. Yes, we are live. Like I'm ashamed. Joshua, which one is it? Is Marvel? Yeah. So I was partially a Marvel fan too, because I loved X-Men. I used to watch the cartoons because it used to come on Fox and another channel growing up, and I loved X-Men. But I was definitely a huge Batman fan. I can go back to many cartoons that I used to watch that came on Fox. Like the most recent one that I remember watching that I loved is when Batman is older and he tries to find a protege to take his place, which is Batman Beyond. I wish someone would back out the video, because I asked him to join in the video to give his opinion about the book, but he told me no several times. So he's going to walk away quietly and slowly without talking and go take his shower, and he'll come and talk to me after he take his shower. Can I have my good night? No. Oh. Because he's stalling for time. He's not slick. All right. So that's that book. I hope I didn't go over my time, because I do want to upload this. But this is the book that I'm reading now. And I'm mad I'm just reading it because it's such an easy read. If you have not read anything by Jason Reynolds, you are behind the time. And I'm mad my light just went out that quick. There we go. You are behind the times. He reminds me not necessarily his writing style, and maybe his writing style, but just the man is the bomb. And I have read several things by him this summer. The Boy in the Black Suit, I already told y'all about that. I've read some other books by him that I will tell you about at another date. But I definitely started reading A Long Way Down. And what I love about Long Way Down is it's written in poetry. So literally you have each page is not even a stanza long, if even that long. But it starts off with the main character, and I'm mad I don't remember his name. That's how much I've been reading. But the main character witnesses his brother being killed. And one of the rules of the streets is if you kill, you get killed. So he's determined, I'm going to find who killed my brother and I'm going to kill him. But what's shocking, his name is William. So what's shocking about it is William is on the elevator and he comes across his older brother's ghost. So I'm just wondering where this is taken. The book is about 250, maybe 300 pages. But when I say, yeah, it's about 300 pages, I've already read about 94 since last night. And I'm going to continue reading this week. But I'm mad I took this long to read this book because it's really an easy read. All his other books to me are easy reads because they're just interesting like that. And I'll tell you about the other books I read by him. Another famous one that was a controversy down in, I don't know the name of the school district, but I know Wando is one of the schools in the school district down in the Charleston area, but it's called All American Boys. That's what hooked me to Jason Reynolds. But he definitely, Walter D. Myers, I hope he got a chance to read Jason Reynolds' work before he passed away, because he would be proud. He would be proud. Because what we definitely need more of is more Black authors speaking the truth that is very relevant to our culture, and that's what I loved about this book. Same thing with Matt De La Pena when it came to Superman. Just awesome read. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to inbox me, DM me, because I'm posting this on many social media outlets. But as always, I want you to be happy reading.